joking.
It's
He's
like,
3 months old. Yeah, that's good, buddy.
That's still not a solid. He was just looking to season.
What in the world?
He didn't eat the chip. He
He
just looked to
had
season
he
on it.
had Fritos and sweet tea.
We was like, you're supposed to try one thing at a time so you don't know, if they're allergic or whatnot. And he's like, there's one thing is Frito.
Sounds like I'm a
Just
But
jump
it's first
on
time
it,
trying
you'll be
to
all
cook.
right.
What do you think? That's cookies all the time.
Yeah, thank you. You're
Do it.
Fritos only have 3 ingredients.
Yeah. What's that?
Dyes, artificial flavor.
No,
No, they're really not.
best you can get.
Really?
It's like corn, oil, and salt.
Yeah.
Well, now that's the regular one.
See,
The
look,
barbecue is
you
the whole, you know.
Who knows? Who knows? It's probably different in French fries when you give it out. And he was 4 weeks old, and where it was like, so when can we give him food? I was like, you've had kids. I don't understand.
How old is he?
He was 4 weeks old when that happened.
Oh.
Yeah. He's 4 months now.
Those are his kids. He's respecting your kids. He's like, we just like put them up buffet early.
Yeah.
Like, so we can do that for
This
yours.
is Garrett.
Also, he's big.
Once your kids get past that phase, you dump all that information. You don't need it.
Yeah. I guess so. I've forgotten a lot in the last 3 years.
I did on porch. I should have on that one.
Man, we got Bob Plus or just.
I thought we just chill. I'm the sub. So if I put a movie on,
Them
I
shoes like that.
go to sleep 45 minutes,
That sounds good.
run the clock
We
out.
need that this morning.
Sometimes you need it.
I did have some food.
They're like light.
Oh,
I think that's so good.
Yeah.
Like a football coach in a history class.
Put the study guide on your desk. There's a test Friday. I don't care if you show up. Whatever.
We played cards
Yes.
every day in my football coach's science class. Until the test.
Yeah, he made us study on World War I every single day, just in case if someone came in, that way everyone could be very good on World War I.
That's awesome.
That's all we know.
It's open book. You can use the internet. I don't care.
Open book, open phone.
And then when you went over to talk to him, he had like the whole game plan for that Friday. Just like spread out across the monitor.
Can I sit by you?
Can you use Google, but you can't use ChatGPT?
No, you can't use AI, but you can use the interwebs that has an AI feature.
I need to read that
Can
way.
you stop for 1 second?
See what I find.
We got any prayer requests? Updated prayer requests for anybody?
Happy birthday.
It's your birthday? Do we need to sing to
Yes.
you? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Emery. Happy birthday to you. You got 1 week, supposedly? Yeah.
Well, days, but
9 days. How you feeling?
tired.
You ready?
Sure.
Okay.
Nursery's not ready. Ask her for nursery's done. You got him somewhere to sleep? You got a crib? Yeah, you got it. You're good to go. You still got time.
He has beds still in our house.
Yeah.
Unpacked.
No problem.
That's that'll work for a little bit.
You got 9 days.
Absolutely fine.
You're fine. Yeah.
Oh, it's still sleep close, so you're good.
Caden gets You're right. Anybody else prayer requests? I don't know if your birthday's a prayer request, but I put it down anyway. Birthday.
Probably the Dickinsons, Melissa, Kim Clark.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike's not here today. They went on vacation. So they put her mama in an assisted living. Is that?
Rehab, it's like a.
Rehab.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
in doing rehab, yeah.
Okay. So they're kind of at that point. You know, it's not really a good answer. So anyway, that's why I'm here. Calm down, everybody. Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Prayer requests?
If you would pray for Samuel, because he got separated from the group intentionally because he is sick.
Okay.
He thinks it's a virus. He's feeling better, but super weak. He had to go back from Switzerland to France.
He's sick in Europe.
Yeah.
That's probably the worst thing possible. Yeah, baguettes everywhere. Croissants. You're like, what is this stuff? Yeah. Anyway.
It's a centralized health system, like, I mean.
Yeah, but then you get the socialist bug, and then you come back and
Which means it's high quality.
so pray for Sam.
He said he was able to go to worship, but he's
I'll make his parents go crazy.
It's just a vibe.
The French fries, they won't eat cheese and syrup.
It is, yeah. And he'll come back. I too. Oh. Anybody else prayer requests? Yes, that's it. All right, go ahead and turn to Judges, the book of Judges in chapter 6. That's where we're going to hang out today. Judges chapter 6. This month we are talking about reluctant leaders. We talked last week about Moses, some highlights and lowlights. We're going to talk about a character who's actually weirdly similar to Moses and how he was called today, and we'll get into that here in a moment. So, Judges and chapter 6, I want to say a couple things about the book of Judges. First of all, it's called Judges. Is that an appropriate name for the book, do you think? This is an open answer. I'm just asking your opinion. When you hear about a book called Judges, what do you typically think it's about?
The judges.
The Judges.
Do you mean modern day?
Do what?
Do you mean modern day?
Modern day. If you just had a book
Oh.
called, sorry. Yeah. That's what you get for answering.
I'm being judged.
That's right. But I think that's what we think is that I picture in my mind, for some reason, an old school judge with the powdery wig. And I don't know why I go there, or a modern day judge with a gavel.
Judge Judy.
Judge Judy, that would be an epic Bible book, right? I would read that one for sure. So what, if it's not about a modern day judge, what would the book be about?
You're asking what it is actually about?
Correct.
So it's about almost prophets, but not prophets, who are sent to judge Israel for their abandonment of their covenant.
Yeah. And sometimes it's a judge or it's also a deliverer, right? It's like a savior sort of figure. I kind of look at it like vigilantes, if that makes sense. So the period and cycle that they're in right now is that Joshua's led them into the land, but they didn't kick out everybody. So now there's all these little bitty nations around them who are whooping them. Like everywhere you turn, nations who shouldn't be whooping them are whooping them. So God calls what's called judges, individuals, to come and basically be a vigilante and get Israel out of the slump. I like to think about Batman. I don't know. It's just Batman's my favorite, so get over it. But so God calls Batman, and Batman is really good in some ways and really flawed in others. Like he's an orphan, and he's like he can't get over it, kind of thing. That's not a flaw. It's not a flaw. I'm just saying, like, no. It's like it's a mental block for him. It's a mental block. We're not recording, are we? That's fine.
It sets him apart from others.
Yes. Okay. In this case, all right. I'm only teaching once this month, so whatever. Like I won't be here next month. So in this case, all the judges or vigilantes, whatever you want to call them, they have good and bad sides. A good example of that is Samson. It's one of our VBS go-tos. Samson, the good side, he's really strong. He beats up on the Philistines a lot. This is a guy who took an entire gate of a city and ripped it out of the ground and moved it on top of a hill. What was Samson's bad side? Not that he was an orphan. I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah.
Delilah.
What?
Delilah.
The ladies. He really was a fan of the ladies, right? And all kinds of different ladies outside of the Israelite community. So he was big into that. He was a Nazirite, and which meant he couldn't drink wine, all this kind of stuff. He had to keep his hair long, and he was out there partying all the time, right? So this is the mode, or I guess the template of the judges. You have people who are talented and who kind of come out of nowhere and deliver Israel from the people who are oppressing them, but they're also doofuses. They're also kind of just idiots. So this morning we're talking about one of those vigilante idiots in Gideon. Contrary to popular belief, I don't think he had anything to do with the little Bibles that you find in hotels, in public places. And I don't know why they're called Gideon Bibles. Anybody know?
I bet Google knows.
Probably.
Because Gideon's from.
Oh,
Why do they call that?
I'm just saying I don't think Gideon had anything to do with it, is all I'm trying to say. I don't think he planted Bibles in Midian. Anyway,
Have you ever like met those people, like the Gideons you came out?
no.
They came to my high school when I graduated, and they got some of the weirdest stories. Like, they told a story, and I get like it's kind of like far fetched out there, but like for instance, this is like just me just kind of making one up.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was sipping on Jack Daniels, and believe it or not, at the bottom of that Jack Daniels bottle there's a Gideon Bible. That day, I turned it over, closed on.
Nice.
So they are members of Gideon's International, an association of Christian businessmen founded in 1899 who named themselves after the Old Testament figure Gideon. They chose this name because, like the biblical Gideon, they were a small band of men dedicated to doing God's work.
Okay. So they took the good part of Gideon and not the
Apparently.
stuff talked about Wednesday. Okay, cool. All right. Judges chapter 6. We'll go ahead and start reading this. Judges 6, and someone get for us verses 11 and 12. Judges 6, 11 and 12.
Now the angel of the Lord came and sat underneath the terebinth at Ophrah, which belonged to Joash, the man. I should have picked this one. And this is right. While his son Gideon was beating out wheat in the winepress to hide it from the Midianites. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said to him, "The Lord is with you, O mighty man of valor."
So who is the new bad guy block for Israel? Midianites. Why is that ironic considering our last study? Do what?
They were living in Midian.
Yeah, so they're from Midian, right? Where does Moses go to run away from Egypt? So the desert. Like it's a desert community. Like they're not crazy resourceful. Israel has some run-ins with them when they're going from Egypt back to Israel, but they wouldn't, right? This is not like a crazy conflict. So the fact that Midian, who was the place that Moses went to run away from civilization, the fact that they're getting whooped on by them is shows the state that they're in spiritually. So where do we find Gideon when the angel of the Lord talks to him? What's he doing? He's threshing the wheat, which normally there's a threshing floor, like the book of Ruth. That's what they do. Boaz, he owns a field, the threshing floor, and they go in there and just beat the stuff, like to get the chaff out from the fruit. So is Gideon beating this wheat in a threshing floor? Where's he doing it? Why? It's a weird place to do that.
Well, he's hiding.
Oh, so you can hide, right? So it's a deep vat. They still got to eat though. So they're so getting whooped on that he hides in this big tank, more or less, and you probably just see chaff like flying up from the top of it. But it's because the Midianites are running through and like destroying their crops. So he takes a bunch of crop and he's just whooping it in this big vat to hide. And that's when the angel of the Lord comes to him and says, "What?
You're a mighty man."
Hey, strong warrior." And he's like, "Me?" What are some similarities between Gideon and Moses so far?
Are both hiding and
Sorry.
good. They're both hiding and they're both hiding in Gideon. First off.
Yeah.
They're in just a second both going to be reluctant, as the title of our class. And then God just shows up and is like, "Hey, I have a big task for you."
Yeah.
There it is.
God treats both of them kind of like where they're going to be eventually. So Moses, when God calls him, is not in any state of mind. "Oh yeah, I'm the God of your father." He's like, let that behind. You're just going to go back. And like God's like, this is going to happen. In the same way he treats Gideon. Hey, mighty man of valor. You might have had the wrong person. That's how he addresses them, though. So we'll continue Judges 6. Let's do. Judges 6, 13 through 18. Someone very brave, read Judges 6, 13 through 18 for us.
And Gideon said to him, Please, my Lord, if the Lord is with us, why then has all this happened to us? And where are all his wonderful deeds that our fathers recounted to us, saying, Did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord has forsaken us and given us into the hand of Midian. And the Lord turned to him and said, Go in this might of yours and save Israel from the hand of Midian. Do not I send you? And he said to him, Please, Lord, how can I save Israel? Behold, my clan is the weakest in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house. And the Lord said to him, But I will be with you, and you shall strike the Midianites as one man. And he said to him, If now I have found favor in your eyes, then show me a sign that it is you who speak with me. Please do not depart from here until I come to you and bring out my present and set it before you. And he said, I will stay till you return.
So what's another similarity between Moses' exchange with God and Gideon's exchange with God here?
I don't think he can do it.
Yeah, it makes an excuse, right? I mean, Moses makes a lot more excuses, but Gideon also makes an excuse here. He doesn't say yet, just find somebody else, but it's that similar thing, like, are you sure you have the right person, right? And again, similar to Moses here, we're going to go through a series of proofs. You know, can you show me a sign that you're with me? Originally, God just tells Moses, well, the sign that you're going to have is when you come back, you'll worship me on this mountain. And Moses is like, that sounds really good. Is there anything else? Like, thank you for that. But is there like an immediate sign? And God takes Moses through some stuff. Take your hand and put it in your coat. Oh, leprosy, put it back in. Oh, wow, amazing. So stuff like that. Gideon's is a little bit more interesting in verse 19. So Gideon went to the house and prepared a young goat and 11 cakes from the ephah of flour. The meat he put in a basket, the broth he put in a pot. And he brought them to him under the terebinth tree and presented them. The angel of the Lord said to him, Take the meat and the 11 cakes and put them on this rock and pour the broth over them. And he did so. Are we seeing any similarities from any other example here? We're going to wet this stuff before we ignite it. Keep it in mind. Verse 21, Then the angel of the Lord reached out the tip of his staff that was in his hand and touched the meat and the unleavened cakes. And fire sprang up from the rock and consumed the meat and the unleavened cakes, and the angel of the Lord vanished from his sight. Do we have another example where there's a fire that's going to happen and they pour water on it to make a point?
Is it Elijah?
Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember if it's Elijah or Elijah.
Yeah, it's Elijah. So the same thing happens here, right? Like, I'm going to show you abundantly that I'm on your side. And then instead of like hanging around, the angel of the Lord just poof, just goes, right? Okay, so now Gideon knows that that's kind of been his affirmation. And you would think that's going to be the one affirmation that Gideon has. No, we have many more affirmations coming. But Gideon realizes, okay, this is a real thing. But look at what God has his first assignment be. So someone get Judges 6, 25 and 26 for us. Judges 6, 25 and 26.
That night the Lord said to him, Take your father's bull, the second bull 7 years old, and pull down the altar of Baal that your father has, and cut down the Asherah that is beside it. Then build an altar to the Lord your God on the top of the stronghold here, with stones laid in due order. Then take the second bull and offer it as a burnt offering with the wood of the Asherah that you shall cut down.
So what's the first order?
Take your father's bull.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a local religion. Go ahead and dismantle that whole thing in one night. Easy peasy, right? So take that altar, tear it down, build a new altar to me on top of it, and make a sacrifice. How do we think that's going to go? Everybody good with that? Good plan? All right, let's just say that Saturday night, Lord forbid someone gets a wild hair or whatever, and they decide to destroy this church building. Whatever, however that looks, right? We all come Sunday morning, the church building is destroyed. How do we feel? What?
Upset, mad, angry.
A little mad. Your silence is concerning me. The fact that we're like, I'm like, well, I guess
We're not building no building.
I mean,
It might be good.
I know. I'm like, this did not go to my what I thought it was going to go.
We are the church.
Oh, Class dismissed. So we have a lot of questions. Who did this? Why did this happen? We got to find who did it, right? So this is their local government at that time. I mean, like everyone is kind of wrapped up in this idol worship. So this is the first thing that God asked Gideon to do, and he calls him mighty man, mighty warrior, man of valor. And he's like, yeah, go and do this thing. Gideon's plan is to do this at night, which is not as mighty, but it still kind of gets done.
But isn't that the way everybody does their first act of rebellion against their father?
Yes. Yes. As
It's late
Jesus,
one night. It's not.
as Jesus said, this is your hour, the hour of darkness. Correct. Yeah. If you're doing something covert, it's got to be at night. Right. Questions, comments so far? All right. Let's continue reading Judges 6, 27 through 32. Judges 6, 27 through 32.
Then Gideon took 10 of his servants and did as the Lord had said unto him, and so it was, because he feared his father's household and the men of the city, that he could not do it by day, he did it by night. And when the men of the city arose in the morning, behold, the altar of Baal was cast down, and the grove was cut down that was by it. And the second bullock was offered upon the altar that was built. And they said one to another, who hath done this thing? And when they inquired and asked, they said, Gideon, the son of Joash, hath done this thing. Then the men of the city said unto Joash, bring out thy son that he may die, because he has cast down the altar of Baal, and because he has cut down the grove that was by it. And Joash said unto all that stood against him, will you plead for Baal? Will you save him? He that will plead for him, let him be put to death while it is yet morning. If he be a god, let him plead for himself, because one has cast down his altar. Therefore on that day he called him Jerubbaal, saying, let Baal plead against him, because he hath thrown down his altar.
So things actually go, better than maybe intended. There's no riot immediately, which is good. But people are obviously upset. Gideon gets a new name, which means, let Baal contend, but it's also like square up Baal, like where you at Baal kind of thing. That's that sort of thing. So it gets knocked down, and
the same thing that happens with Elijah.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. So Elijah also says, well, maybe Baal's a god. Maybe he's taking a leak. Maybe we should wait on him. Elijah doesn't literally say that. That's the Anatolic version. So you're welcome.
It's pretty close.
It's pretty close.
Pretty close. Pretty close. The other one's not so, we won't mention that one.
Yeah.
But it's the same kind of thing. So his dad stands up and he's like, hey, if this guy's for real, like we would see some kind of feedback, right? We would see something fighting back.
So, but if that's weird because that's his dad, right?
Correct.
So it's like,
right.
If that's your stand, how come you hadn't had a problem with Baal this whole time? Like, what?
That is the thing. And that's an interesting idea of like, was his dad too afraid to do this, but this catalyst kind of like makes him get on board. That's a good thought. Yeah. Anybody else?
Maybe kind of change the subject, but where did Baal come from? Like, why did people start worshiping him?
It's a great question. What was that?
Is he a god of something? Like,
Yes.
A what?
Something I read said like it's not necessarily just one. Like Baal is a title that could refer to any number of the gods, and so it's not specifying in a particular which one. We don't really know.
And if you notice, your Bible says, well, mine says Asherah, so I don't know if there were two gods or.
A lot of times they were wrapped in, yeah. So Baal in Aramaic and Hebrew just means Lord or husband.
I just wonder where he came from.
Mhm.
Why people started worshiping.
So it was a broad term for just God, like Lord. Like we have Lord. Like we'll say, Lord have mercy. We don't necessarily mean like,
So,
we're just like a.
I mean, whatever god that particular village had would have been called a Baal, and then whatever god that village had would have been called a Baal. So it's
There is a part in the New Testament where the Jews accused Jesus of using the power of a deity called Beelzebub. This is their modern equivalent of the Lord of the Flies or Death. So Baal-zebub is what they would have called it. Yeah, so there was a Lord of the Death. Traditionally, in Syria, I think it was where he was from, or Turkey, he was a thunder god that rode on the clouds and controlled weather and stuff.
I was just informed he was in the Epstein files too.
He is.
Belle is the Epstein files.
He is.
He's living the life.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Moving on. Baal's a bad guy, all right? So here's another thing. All right, so I'm kind of getting into what we're going to talk about in a few months, but there is also an idea that Baal took human sacrifices, and there is what do we typically call the god who took human sacrifices? We normally have a name for him. What? Moloch. Yeah, so traditionally we've taken that as its own deity, and that was his thing. Moloch's thing was he took child sacrifices, right? Recent study in the past several years has shown that Moloch may have not been a title, but a type of sacrifice, which is more devious than just one god taking human sacrifices, which would have meant Baal took human sacrifices. The god of, I think it was Ammon, Chemosh, took human sacrifices. And unfortunately, even the Israelites who confused their god for these Canaanite gods even sacrificed their own children to Molech, or did that kind of sacrifice. So that's another kind of element to it. So Baal was not good, is what I'm trying to say. Like it wasn't just like, God's upset and jealous, like, oh, you guys aren't worshiping me. Like it's like some real stuff going on that may bleed itself into modern day. Moving on. So he destroys this altar, puts up one in God's name, and we think we're done, right? We're like, hey, we've won. Everything is good now, right? Wrong. Let's go to Judges 6, and someone read for us 36 through 40. Judges 6, 36 through 40.
Then Gideon said to God, if you will save Israel by my hand, as you have said, behold, I am laying a fleece of wool at the threshing floor. If there is dew on the fleece alone, and it is dry on all the ground, then I shall know that you will save Israel by my hand, as you have said. And it was so. And when he arose the next morning and squeezed the fleece, it wrung enough dew from the fleece to fill a bowl full of water. Then Gideon said to God, let not your anger burn against me. Let me speak just once more. Please let me test just once more with the fleece. Please let it be dry on the fleece only, and on all the ground let there be dew. And God did so that night, and it was dry on the fleece only, and on all the ground there was dew.
So the bad guys who follow Baal, they're going to go get an army, and they're going to get Gideon, right? So God tells Gideon, you're going to defend Israel, and you're going to overthrow this force coming up against you. Gideon then says, that sounds good. Can I get another one of those signs? Which, okay, so the first sign, you know what I mean? Like he did it the first time, and Gideon's like, okay, thanks for the sign, right? But Gideon says, I'm going to leave this fleece out on the ground. I'm going to sleep. And if it's dry everywhere else, but the fleece soaks it up, that'll be enough. And what I like the description, how much dew are we talking about at the end of the night?
A bowl of water.
A bowl of water. I mean, like, okay, so
Mistake.
it's not, yeah, like it's pretty intentional. Like when you go outside and you walk through the dewy grass, you're going to get some water on your shoes. Not to fill a bowl, but like you're not going to be soaking wet at this point, right? He wrings it out, and it's like, I know God's with me. What's the next step?
And do the opposite.
Don't be mad, but
There's a lot of pleases, Do you notice a lot of pleases?
Look, maybe reverse that.
Look how many pleases. This also reminds me of like when a kid, do you know that, or they get the sense that you're going to be upset with them or lose your patience. Verse 39, then Gideon said to God, let not your anger burn against me. See again, when a kid says, don't be mad, like you're already there, right? Don't be mad. Let me speak just once more. Please, let me test you just once more with the fleece. Please, let it be dry on the fleece only, and all the ground let there be dew. So again, another night. We've wasted 2 nights. So one night, we go to sleep. There's dry everywhere else except on the fleece. Next night, let everywhere else be wet, and the fleece be dry.
And he's already seen the angel, right?
Like, yeah.
He's just coming up with stuff.
You're just stalling now, buddy. Here comes a sword and get out there.
Dude, at this point, go to bed. So at this point, he's like the kid who's saying, can I have a glass of water? Yes. Here's a glass of water. Can I get a bedtime story? Yes. Here's a bedtime story. Can I get a tuck me in? Yes. So you know what I mean? He's like testing. Amazingly, God's not like, you know what, forget it. like sure, just let Midian have their way with it, like whatever. Like he's very, very patient. Any thoughts, comments on that?
Not at all related, but did anyone notice that he is now at the threshing floor, even though he was threshing not at the threshing floor?
Yes. Right? So it's a kind of a weird full circle thing going on. Yeah, good point. All right, so Judges chapter 7. Let's go. Yeah, someone very brave, read Judges 7, 1 through 8 for us. Judges 7, verses 1 through 8.
And the Lord said unto Gideon, these people are yet too many. Bring them down into the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that of whom I say unto thee, this shall go with thee, the same go with thee, and whomever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, the same shall not go. That was a lot. Oh, and I started on verse 4. I didn't even start on verse 1.
Oh, I was going to let you go.
There was a heading, and I just assumed. Let me start over.
Okay.
Who is Gideon, of all the people that were with him, rose up early and pitched inside the well of Herod, so that the host of the Midianites were on the north side of them by the hill of Morah in the valley. And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people who are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands, lest Israel vault themselves against me, saying, mine own hath saved me. Now therefore go to proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from the Mount Gilead. And there returned to the people 22,000, and there remained 10,000. And the Lord said unto Gideon, there are yet too many. Bring them down to the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that of whom I say to thee, these shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee, and whomever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, and the same shall not go. So we brought down the people into the water, and the Lord said unto Gideon, everyone that lappeth of the water with his tongue, as a dog lappeth, him shall not set by himself. Likewise, everyone that boweth down upon his knees to drink. And the number of them that lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men. All the rest of the people bowed down upon the knees to drink the water. And the Lord said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lappeth will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand, and let all the other people go every man unto his own place. So the people took victuals in their hands and their trumpets, and he sent all the rest of Israel every man into his tent, and retained those 300 men, and the host of Midian was beneath him in the valley.
So in chapter 6, verse 33, all the Midianites and Amalekites and people of the east came together. They crossed the Jordan and encamped in the valley of Jezreel. So they're bringing like entire nations to like get revenge. So Gideon's thought is, I need to get our nation, right? If you got several thousand people, I need to get several thousand people. How many people does it say in verse 3 that Gideon gets?
32,000.
Yeah.
The total.
Yeah. So he's got a ton of people. Verse 3.
Also, how do you go from the least in your father's house beating wheat in a wine vat to controlling 33,000 people in like 4 days?
That's part of their leadership class. Okay, we're getting there. So
Who's the least, the youngest?
I think you paint your face and you ride on a horse and you yell freedom, man.
Yeah.
People show up.
least could be youngest.
But still, yeah.
It could be youngest. That's what Saul says too when Samuel goes to meet him. I'm the least. You know, does it mean like the smallest or the youngest or whatever? Or does it mean like I'm lowly? Little old me? You know, maybe. Any thoughts, comments?
Same for David.
Exactly right. Yeah, little old me, which he may have been little, we don't know. We always say he's little. I mean, he was just young. I don't know if he's little. So 32,000 people, right? 32,000 people. And in verse 3, God says, whoever is fearful and trembling, let him return home. Hurry away from Mount Gilead. Then 22,000 people returned, like 2/3 of your force. You're like, this is fine. They were scared anyway. We need people who ain't scared, right? I ain't scared. Okay. Then God's like, too many people. You're going to get cocky, and we can't have that. Go take a drink, and whoever puts their face in the water like a dog, get them out of here. Whoever drinks from their hands. Apparently people were just thirsty. They're like shoving their heads in the water. So how many people are left to fight entire nations?
300.
Ooh.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie, though. Not the same, though. Yeah. They're like, we were thirsty and got drinks, and now we're here. So it's not exactly, it's not Leonidas.
There is some speculation, I think they're wrong, but that a warrior wouldn't take his head down to the water, and so he would bring the water up to himself so he could still see.
He wasn't alert.
Yeah, I think the opposite is what's being said. This is the least with the least amount of people who are the least prepared.
Oh, that's right.
And they're going to win.
That's right. Yeah. So we're cutting it down, and the qualifications get slimmer and slimmer. Yeah. So you got 300 people against entire nations. The story goes, it's the middle of the night. Everybody has a trumpet. Everybody has a torch, which represents a number of different people. So they kind of surround the camp, break it, and blow their horns. Everybody freaks out. All these nations freak out, start killing each other, run off, and then they kind of chase them down because they're just all in a frenzy and never really recover from it. So it's not the traditional way that we think it's going to happen. It's not the 300, stand of Leonidas, where he's defeating the entire Persian army, but Gideon still leads a force and still accomplishes God's will. So some application here. Do leaders also have doubts like Gideon? So we talked about Gideon's funny moment of, can you reaffirm? Can you confirm? Can you reaffirm? I mean, are leaders today ever like that? If so, perhaps an example.
If we talk, I think that's why usually you want a plurality of leaders, so that when one is wavering, then the others can get in there.
Yeah, absolutely, especially by yourself, right? It's a huge task.
If you want a current example, Trump, like last year when we were bombing and all that, it was like, well, if he does one more thing, then we're gonna bomb. Well, if he does another thing,
right?
And it just kept on and kept on and kept on.
Yeah.
And eventually, we're gonna do something maybe.
Yeah. So we got Epstein files and Trump mentioned in the same class.
Yeah.
It can't get any worse, guys. Good. I mean, you can talk about this from a business point of view, especially in the church, though. I mean, we look at leaders like they're not supposed to have any doubts and they're a fearless leader. I mean, it's scary, dude. I mean, you've got a million questions if you're a leader, right?
Well, when we go over there to Timothy and we read those qualifications of elders and we go, if a man desires the office, and then we've made him desiring the office one of the qualifications, but it's like that would have disqualified a whole bunch of called leaders in the Old Testament. And actually, a lot of times, the desire is what disqualifies somebody, because you don't necessarily want somebody leading who that's all they desire is to be in charge.
Right.
Yeah.
You
really want somebody more reluctant that just sort of feels like this is something they are called to kind of have to do, as opposed to put me in charge. I want to do it, because that becomes more self-serving. Anyway,
God even kind of says that too when he's cutting down the amount of people. We got too many people. You're going to get cocky, and if you win, you'll think it was you.
But is that desire the Holy Spirit telling you to do that, pulling you to do that?
No, because if any man desire,
Yeah.
Maybe what's the source of the drive, the desire, the purpose for the desire.
I think we mentioned it Wednesday night too. You look like in the Old Testament particularly, how many of the people that wanted to be in charge, those people, how'd it go for them? And the ones that didn't want to be in charge, how'd it go for them? But, they didn't want to, but they were in charge, they followed through.
Yeah.
So I think it's usually the ones that don't want it turn into the best leaders. Usually, not necessarily. But the decision-making thing, you don't want to make hasty decisions. You also don't want to wait too long to make a decision, which Gideon is kind of like Moses, lucky he didn't get a thunderbolt.
Yeah, right.
But a leader needs to be somewhat purposeful. Think things through. How is this going to affect this other thing or these people or those kind of things.
And I'm not saying that it's wrong to desire. Obviously, I'm just saying like there's a difference between like I would like to strive to be able to serve in that way versus I want that position.
You're not campaigning.
There's a difference.
You're not campaigning. Yeah.
That's the same example we brought up last week of Miriam and Aaron trying to overthrow Moses, where he didn't want it and was forced to do it. And then they're like, we can do this, we want this, Why can't we be the ones to talk to God? And they harshly are reprimanded for that.
Yeah, that's another thing we talked about last week too, is that Gideon is not in a position literally or figuratively to lead here. I mean, he's hiding. So he doesn't think he has what it takes to do this, but God knows who he is. And God's going to help him develop these skills. So also when you become a leader, you don't have to have everything figured out immediately. Some of that's learned on the job. I don't like to hear that, but that means some mistakes, some questions, some vulnerabilities that might show up that, we have to kind of be expressed and we have to deal with them in real time. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd say also maybe with, especially with reference to applying that thing with the 10,000 he sent away. In so much that even though Gideon led these people, it was not so much Gideon as God.
Yes.
So
he was a vessel to do these things, correct. Yeah, and the same can be said today. Yeah, you might have your individual strengths and weaknesses, but ultimately it's not what we're doing. I want to leave you off with this thought. As you serve in various capacities in your family, job, and church, or whatever, you know your strengths and weaknesses. You know what you're good at and what you have to work on or what you think you have to work on. Don't be so quick to say either that disqualifies you from leading or that qualifies you for leading. It's a process that we kind of all have to go through. And if we're open to hearing what God has for us to do, walk in that path, then we will be the kind of person that he wants us to be through various means. It might take some trial and error, and it might take a few battles in Gideon's case, but God knows our full potential. We just have to have enough faith to kind of step out and do that. Thoughts or comments? Nope. Let's pray, and then let's head into the auditorium. Let's pray together. Holy Father, we're thankful for the opportunity that we have to come here today, learn more about you and study your word. We're thankful for your servant Gideon, who was willing to do your will, even though he was frightened and scared and didn't feel qualified. In the same way, Father, we pray that we would also take these steps that you're asking us to do. We would trust you enough that you know what you're doing, that you've chosen us for a reason. We're thankful for Christ who makes all these things possible. Praise things in his name. Amen. Thank you all.
So when you get that text letter, it was